Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Beers and Deers podcast. As always, the Guillotine, Rambo. But tonight, very special guest joining us. The boys from the Bayside Legion in the house. Welcome, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely, man. We appreciate you guys making the trek over here. I know. So you're local. You're relatively local, which is it's a small world.
Yeah.
You want to try to bring this mic to you. It's a little hard getting used to, but just try to get it like fucking almost like fist distance from your mouth.
Talking to the mic.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, that's good. That should be good. We'll pick you up. And I can always I adjust you on the fly.
Spinning that shit over there.
Try and do my best to DJ here. So I've been watching your guys' YouTube channel, and you guys do a lot of turkey hunting.
A little bit.
A little bit. So hold on.
Might be a little obsessive, but
That's kind of how we feel about deer. So
Yeah,
I get
whitetail
it.
in general.
I can relate to you at least in that regard. As far as turkey go, though, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm terrible.
We don't either.
exactly.
We fake it really well.
Yeah. Well, that's what turkey hunting's all about, though, right? I mean, faking it, making noises, acting like a fucking turkey.
Well,
At least I'm
wrong.
guessing. I'm asking you because I have no clue.
Yeah. Well, we've tried it. Weren't big fans because we didn't really have that much action. So, what's the first step? Say you're going to a piece of property you've never been to before. What's the first step? Do you look at like maps? Do you just go there in the morning and hit a locator call? What do you do?
I mean, if you're talking a property you've never been to, you're just trying to get the feel of, I mean, ideally I'd want to check it out preseason, hit it that first 40-degree crisp, clear morning, calm, not a breath of wind. Get out there on that nice, cool morning, just see what the birds are doing. They will tell you where they want to be. It's not going to be the same when the season comes open, but they're going to sound off and, well, hopefully, ideally, but and you can learn a lot just from that little thing right there. See where they go.
So what are you using to call to them initially in the morning?
I mean, we
Like
do
an
locate
owl
with
call?
owls. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you got. I have no clue, and that's like what I've done is call to them like an owl call, and I had a little bit of luck last year. But I didn't have enough luck to get one in to shoot. Actually, we called one in on public land, and we had a guy shoot it about 80 yards from me. So that kind of
Done that.
yeah.
So you guys actually are trying to hunt all, what is it, the lower 48?
49 states, except for Alaska, has turkeys. Has a huntable population of turkeys.
Alaska doesn't.
Correct.
Hawaii does?
Hawaii does.
Wow. Okay.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't. You can throw the best words that you've got, and it's not going to describe Hawaii.
Really?
Yep.
So you've been there and you were successful?
Yeah.
Wow.
Took a
Okay.
while.
Yeah. It wasn't easy.
No.
So how long have you guys been on this pursuit of the lower 49, or 49, I guess?
Since 2018 is when we really kind of decided, hey, we want to
I think I
do
officially
this.
announced that I was doing this at the end of 2018 season. So I may have had 8 or 9 states at that point, and it was at the end of that season. I was coming back from Pennsylvania, and I said, you know what? If I'm going to do this, now's the time. You're not just waiting. Is nothing's going to happen. It's always been one of those things that you say, one of these days it'd be cool to do, but that's not on the calendar, so you got to put it there. So I think it was at the end of 2018 when I officially said it. And I think you declared it a little bit sooner than that. But
I mean, I'd wanted to do it since 2001. My dad actually met a guy named Doc Weddle who has killed turkeys in 49 states 3 times over and is working on his 4th and 5th. My dad met him at a turkey camp in South Carolina, came back and told me about this guy that was chasing turkeys in all 49 states. And I'm like, that floored me, and I wanted to do it. But like Derek said, it was always just kind of a pipe dream, and I didn't really have any desire. I didn't think I was actually going to be able to accomplish it. And then you're just kind of, hey, you got to do it. And so let's go ahead and start putting the eggs in that basket and making it happen.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's insane.
that's pretty cool. I could just I try to equate it to like whitetail hunting, and that's just, man, there's so much that there's so many dilemmas that you have to overcome to do that. I mean, just the terrain from northern Maryland to, say, the lower eastern shore, or from western Maryland to the lower eastern shore, for even better example, is so different, and how you hunt it is so different. I can't imagine just from one state of the union all the way to the other side of how all the things that you have to, that are fighting against you, you know what I mean, that you're unfamiliar with. What has been the hardest state that you think you've found to hunt turkey in?
I know our answers are probably going to be different.
Absolutely.
Mine has been Connecticut, and I am not a big fan of a lot of the northeastern states. I really don't like them. Rhode Island, I'm sorry. That's my number one. Connecticut is going to be number two whenever I kill a bird in Connecticut, or maybe number one. I spent a lot of days in Connecticut and have not had any luck.
Have you got one there?
No.
No. So
every time I've been up there, it's been late season, and the birds just weren't cooperating. They weren't on public. I could find them on private. The last time I was in Connecticut, I asked permission on a place, and the old guy literally chased me down his driveway with his walker to get off his property.
God.
And I said, okay, I'm done with this state for the moment.
No shit.
I mean, and that was like the 8th house I had knocked on and been told no, you know.
Yeah.
And so it was just like, all right, I'm done. You know, I'm done for this trip. We'll come back next year. And so that's my hardest state so far.
What about you?
Yeah, going purely off of the number of days and trips down that it took to happen, I got to go with Mississippi. It took 2 years. I went back. First year I hunted 7 days in Mississippi, and actually that year I had a little bit of action. But when you're going down there, and I think I averaged about 4 gobbles a day of birds that I was hearing, which is not much at all.
Mm-hmm.
They're tight-lipped at that point.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how good that was until I got down there last year, and I started earlier in the season. I was there opening day, and I hunted 11 days last year. Of those 11 days, I heard birds gobble on 3.
Wow.
And finally killed a bird. I'd found it on day 10. It gobbled actually decent that day. And then I killed him the next morning in a rainstorm, basically just deer hunting him, waiting on him to come back where he liked.
No shit. So you weren't really calling. You were just kind of waiting for him to come back to bed.
I had it was still the morning. Basically, I figured out the day before where a general area that those birds were coming out to, where they did the previous morning. So I just kind of set up there in advance because it was a rainy day. I knew they were going to come out to that field, and I just kind of waited for them. I did call a little bit, but not a whole lot. I didn't go crazy.
Gotcha. So. Now, I didn't ask you guys, how many states are you guys at now?
I'm at 41.
So you're getting close, man.
Jeez.
Yeah.
He's knocking on the door. I got a little bit to go. I'm at 32.
Damn, that's still really impressive. That's awesome.
I'm at 0. So
Never killed a turkey.
So there's 4 different subspecies of turkey, right?
Yep.
Eastern.
Osceola.
Yeah, we could break that down. Actually, there's 5.
6.
That's a
count
different
oscillator.
species. So you got your Eastern, Miriams, Rios, and Osceolas, which are the Grand Slam.
Mm-hmm.
Then you add the Goulds, which is more, they're in Arizona, New Mexico, and Mexico.
Yeah, those goofy looking ones. They're real colorful.
No,
That's the
no,
oscillators.
no.
Oh,
The Goulds are like a Miriam's on crack. Like they're big, they're heavy birds.
Okay.
But to draw a tag in the States is really, really tough to do.
Okay.
So those are the 5 subspecies of the wild turkey. And then the ocellated turkey is actually a different species. That's the goofy peacock-looking one that's in like the Yucatan Peninsula.
What's the hardest subspecies you've came across? I've always heard it's the Eastern. So I don't know.
It's whatever
Yeah.
turkey happens to be hard on that
Okay.
particular day.
So it's not just a certain one's harder than the other one.
Ones don't call less than the others.
They're a little bit different species, and some of them, they all have different traits that make them hard. Like a lot of Miriams live at high elevation, and they are runners. So when they touch down, they run through the mountains, and you have to try to keep up, and you just can't. So I mean, like that's hard. So it depends on how you're breaking down hard.
Right.
Yeah.
As a whole, I would say the Eastern is probably a more difficult subspecies out of them all.
Yeah.
Particularly in the Southeast.
Yes.
I
Where
think that's because they're just so pressured. or just
In
the
the
bird?
southeast, it's not just being pressured; they've been pressured for a long time.
Mm.
Those populations have learned to stay alive by not gobbling.
Yeah.
And you look at the best turkey hunters there are, they're all in the southeast: Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia. That's where they are. So
If you can
They're-
kill them,
they're
there, you can kill
legit.
them anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Maryland's pretty run of the mill. Then we just suck.
well, I think our turkey hunt's pretty good here. I think it's easier than anything in the south.
Yeah. Now, do you guys like the shore or the mountains? If you had to prefer one or the other, where to hunt?
I like them both.
Like
I've
both?
never hunted the mountains in Maryland,
No.
so I don't know anything other than the shore.
We got a buddy Chance. He's came on the podcast and he said he really prefers to hunt them up in the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
He said he's had a lot more success there.
I could see it. The shore gets hammered. I mean,
It does.
you know, I've said this before in other places, but the shore gets hammered hard. I was in Mississippi and Alabama during 2020 when everybody was off of work, because I was off of work too. And so everybody was out there, and the shore gets hunted a lot harder than those places did, in my opinion. Like, I've seen small WMAs that have 6, 7, 8 trucks in them, and they're only a couple hundred acres. I
Yeah.
mean, like, that's crazy.
Phew.
Yeah.
And when I was in Alabama and Mississippi, there was people, but not like the shore. I mean, it
Yeah.
gets hunted hard. And even like this last 3 days has been Maryland turkey season, winter turkey season.
Mm.
And I've seen people, I've been hunting 2 days now, Thursday and today, and I've seen people both days that were turkey hunting. Quite a few people.
Yeah.
Really?
And even Thursday it was raining. And I'm like, what are you crazy people doing out turkey hunting? I thought I'm the only one. Like,
You're the only
why
crazy one.
am I not the only crazy one out here in the rain in January trying to shoot a turkey?
Do you call to them in the winter season too?
I would if I had found any.
Yeah. But if you don't hear them, you're not calling to them.
I'm still trying to locate them,
Okay.
and they'll call back. It's just it's different this time of year than it is during the springtime. During the springtime, you expect a gobble.
Mm-hmm.
This time, I expect more of just a answering yelp, and then I have to determine a lot more information from one yelp as opposed to one gobble. So, because they're
Gotcha.
probably not coming. Whereas if they gobble, there's
They
a
might
chance
be.
that they're coming.
Yeah. So you're going to them this time of year then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What do you guys do for a living?
I work at plastic pack packaging and hazardous grace,
okay.
manufacturing
Yep.
plastic bottles, soda bottles, detergent bottles.
Okay. Yeah.
But-
I'm familiar with the plastic pack place.
Cool.
Yeah. What about you?
I'm a store manager for AutoZone in Lewis.
Oh, okay. Right on. Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm a millwright, and he works in a quarry.
Quarry worker, yep.
Yep.
Over there in
He
Happy
makes-
Grace.
He makes
Cool.
big rocks, small rocks.
Yeah. Fred
It's
Flintstone.
an important job.
Yeah, I'm just all blue collar guys. That's kind of what I was getting at. I mean, if you guys can get all over the country doing that, you're not fucking trust fund kids. You know what I mean? How are
Not
you
at all.
guys managing that? How are you guys managing all that travel?
We've both been with our companies for a long time and have just racked up vacation days and
Okay.
then save all of our vacation days for turkey season.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
pretty much it.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we do too. But
Yeah.
for deer, we're more deer hunting. And you guys do a little bit of deer, and this is what I really wanted to hear from you guys
Yeah,
about.
he didn't give a damn about the turkeys. He didn't give a shit about the turkeys.
Turkeys are cool and all, and I'd love to kill one, but these fucking Cigadeer are, dude, I'm hooked. I went down. So actually, I went down a couple years ago to Taylor's Island and failed miserably. Didn't even hear a bugle. And then just this past year, I went down to Blackwater, and the first day I went, me and my buddy Ryan here, he's sitting on the couch spectating. We went in to Blackwater, and that first morning we heard a bugle. The first one we heard, at the time I didn't know, but now I know it was probably within 200 yards of us, and it was it's loud as hell. And I looked at him, he looked at me, and I was like, dude, that's fucking badass. I'm hooked.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
does it.
Yep.
I've been I've went back down. I think I've spent 7 days hunting down there.
Something like that.
I shot one, never found it. That's it was brutal. It sucks. It was really low light, and I thought where I was aiming was I hit where I was aiming, but I was aiming wrong. You know, I hit shoulder, and we never found him. So that
That's
sucks.
kind of where you need to hit them.
In the shoulder.
Get it to where they can't walk.
Yeah.
Because if they can walk,
Blow their shoulder up.
Wow, never even thought about that.
With a bow?
yeah,
You're shooting him in the shoulder.
I
Spinal,
have.
bro.
That's
That
if
works
you
too.
can-
That always works.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. This is just my personal take on it, and I haven't shot that many, but I don't want to track them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's in water, and I have not grown up deer hunting, so my tracking skills are probably not. Tracking skills are probably the worst out of everybody in this group here. I don't want to track them. I want that thing to go down in sight, so I'm going to do whatever I can do to make sure it stays down.
Never even thought about that.
I don't know. Didn't work for me.
Right.
But I guess I could see it. I mean, what kind of broadheads are you guys using?
Go ahead.
I shoot right now the 3-inch 150 grain Schwacker.
Okay.
Put extra 100 grains up front and 300 spine arrow. So
you're shooting
Not-
a lot of a high FOC
Yeah.
and a heavy arrow.
but still shooting mechanical. So I don't want to intentionally hit shoulder, but I am going for right in the
Real
vital
close.
V, trying to get as close to it as I can. I've hit them in the shoulder, and I've passed through them
Really?
with that. I mean, I was pretty impressed when I did it. It's like, all right, that did what I wanted it to do. In the
Okay.
event that happens, that's a backup plan, not
Yeah.
the full plan. But yeah, it works.
So just
Plus, a big cut and broadhead is
and a
good
heavy,
thing.
real heavy arrow setup. Yeah. See, I've always been skeptical of how many grains, or even if it's an achievable amount of arrow weight, because I'm shooting 125s and just pretty like standard inserts and stuff like that. So it's nothing crazy. My FOC's like over, I can't remember what the fuck it is.
It's like 14 something.
Yeah, but it's my arrows aren't anything crazy heavy, and I wouldn't be willing to try to shoot them in the shoulder, at least not intentionally. But if you have a heavy enough arrow, theoretically, I guess it could do the job. So, what got you guys into hunting Cigadeer?
Derek got me into it.
Yeah, I dabbled with it years and years ago. I think it was 16 years ago. And kind of like you talk about hearing that bugle in the marsh the first time. Like I remember exactly where it was when I was like in a kayak. I think I was going duck hunting, paddling down this ditch, and one sounds off in the dark like 100 yards from me, and that just like lit the freaking fuse. And it's like, that was awesome. So of course you had to try it.
I didn't get lucky enough. Me and our other buddy, we boated out to Guinea Island,
Yeah.
and we didn't hear one bugle. We heard one. It sounded like it was light years away.
Nice
But
guy.
I wish we would have heard something closer, but it never happened. But Seth and Ryan had way different experiences than I did. So he's got the bug. I don't really have the bug. Hopefully I can get the bug next year in Blackwater.
Next October. How did you? So you heard that, and then what transpired from there? You heard that, and you were like, okay, I want to hunt that.
So I tried it, and I think the very first time I did it, I basically just walked into a piece of public, and I actually saw a deer. That I think it was a rainy morning, terrible weather. I was in rain gear, which sucks when you're bow hunting because I don't know. I hate hunting rainbow hunting, but it's what you have. I saw a deer, and I probably didn't go back for another couple of years. And when I went back, I actually had a shot at a decent 5-point, and I missed. And then it took me another couple of years to get back down, and finally I killed a deer and was pretty happy with it. And then it started becoming a more regular thing, and that's when you kind of bit into it. And we have this weird competitive thing between us that's like we can't let, like if he starts showing a little more interest in it, it's like then it just picks me up, and we kind of just feed off each other. And from there, it's that was, I think it was 2016 really before we got deep into it, and then it's like from there on it's been like it's in our blood now, I think.
Yeah.
Or I think enough of our blood's still in Dorchester County, and the mosquitoes are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's got a little bit of yours down there and a little bit of you in it, and I fucking love it. I'm hooked. I haven't even killed one yet, and I already know I'll hunt them forever.
Well,
Have you guys heard him growl yet?
No,
Ooh.
Yeah.
I thought I might have heard one, but then I listened to it online, and I was like, I don't think that's what I heard. So I'm not sure if I've heard one or not, but I don't think so.
Picture a demon that growls. No, seriously, picture a demon. Whatever that sound is, the deepest, like, most hellish sound that you can come up with, that's what they sound like.
Now, what's the growl? What is?
Do it, Bones.
I can't get my voice deep
Okay.
enough for it, but like that. I mean, that's what I do to growl
Really?
back at them. Yeah, it's demonic sounding.
What's the purpose of that? Is it kind of like a snort wheeze for a whitetail?
It's
or?
a territorial thing.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool as shit. When you do it and then they do it back at you and they come charging in,
Well, there you
it'll
go.
make your hair stand up on the back of your neck.
So how far away are they when you do that?
Within 100.
Yeah, they're gonna be pretty close.
You want them to be close.
Yeah.
Okay. And you'll just growl at them, and they'll growl back at you.
He shot one that
I knew
was
some girls like that. Well, that's these little Asian ones. I'm into them for sure.
These are Asian deer.
Yeah,
There you go.
that's
Valid point.
That's what I need. I'm fucking hooked on them. I'll have to try it. I don't know. I get them. I haven't had that many of them inside that yardage, so. But I've almost been like hesitant to call them. You know what I mean? I guess because I've been indoctrinated by hunting whitetail, and like with whitetail, it's like calling doesn't do a whole lot. Like I've rattled deer in, like bucks in and stuff, but most of the time they're not very vocal animals, and I feel like that's translated to me. And you guys do hunt whitetail,
Little
just
bit.
not
Little
real
bit.
not real big into it.
Yeah.
What are the biggest contrasts between a Sika and a whitetail that you found, and what's like the biggest difference?
You'd be more experienced at this than I am because I've
He
only
didn't-
killed one whitetail in my
Yeah.
life, and that was on the ground with a muzzleloader. So I am not
Not a
an
whitetail
expert
guy.
at all.
Okay.
I try it and I just fail miserably. So
That's how I
He's-
feel about turkey, dude. So I get it.
He's actually been. I think you've given a decent bit of effort trying to get a whitetail down, and
I have something
not
like,
throwing stones, but
No, it's something like 9 or 10 sits this year,
Yeah.
and that's not. And that's also Sika hunting a lot, so it's not good.
Yeah.
I can't whitetail.
he thinks it's just gonna happen. I think he wants it too bad.
Yeah.
You know,
I
he's
think
Probably.
putting it on the
Yeah.
pedestal a little bit, but
putting the pussy on the pedestal. That'll do it. Yeah. I think that's my problem with Sika. Like I've hunted them so hard, and I've just given them. I mean, I fucking hiking miles through frag and just like bullshit and get all the way out there, and I'm fucking bugling, and I feel like a fucking moron. But I mean, and I'll hear some bugles, but yeah, this last time we went down to Wacomico, and for 3 days, the only one I seen was hiking in one morning. So that was pretty brutal. But yeah, sorry. So what do you think is the biggest difference between whitetail and Sika?
the contrast. I mean, the principle's the same. You're hunting your transitional areas, between feed and bed. I mean, we like those transitions, like from the woods to the marsh, and have kind of always keyed in on that. I think we gravitate to the marsh a little more, and I don't know if that's because we're waterfowlers at heart, and I think we like getting out on the marsh and watching ducks a lot of times. Like, keeps you busy. It serves as scouting for other purposes, but so I mean, we do like getting a good bit out on the marsh when we do. But I mean, I think the principle's there. It's similar. I know a lot of people say don't hunt them like you would whitetail, but I kind of think the thought process is right on point.
Really? Okay.
I know down there, particularly on hunting public, these deer love corn piles, and they will go a long ways to reach corn piles. I think every deer, regardless of how far I've been from a corn pile that I've gutted, has had corn in it.
Really?
Yeah.
And I don't think that's because people are baiting on public land. I think that's because they're traveling a long ways to get to a corn pile and then coming back out and hitting those frag beds on the public when they come back. And so, I mean, there's your food source.
And they're but you find them bedding in the frag?
Oh, yeah, they live in the frag.
Yeah.
Just something that I've noticed. If you hunt the woods, you have a much shorter window of activity. Whereas if you get out into the frag beds, I think there's a little longer window of activity. They'll move around in that frag bed all day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you've seen them move in the frag more in daylight than you have, say, on transition areas?
I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my spots that I like to hunt is definitely on a transition area, and it's a morning spot. I mean, literally, I could probably leave half an hour after daylight, and I can probably count on one hand the number of deer I've seen in that spot after half an hour after sunrise.
Yeah. So,
And I think I can lose a couple fingers and still be good. I mean, I've only seen a handful of deer there that travel after morning.
wow.
But
You haven't
one of
hunted
his
it much,
spots
though.
is not far from there, and he sees deer a lot later than I will.
Mm-hmm.
So
They're tough. You guys hunt mostly public when you're hunting turkey too?
Yeah.
almost exclusively.
Yeah.
Unless we can get permission from a door knock, it's on public.
How do you guys do that often? You knock on doors?
See something that makes me want to think it's worth knocking on the door, I'll knock on the door. I don't have a problem with it.
No.
What's your success rate from just knocking on doors?
Not high.
No, not even.
Out west, it's a little better.
Yeah. You think that's like a new age thing where people just want you to pay to hunt on their property, or people just don't?
I think around here, everybody's paying.
Yeah.
And
Sucks.
like here, it's almost impossible, I feel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. It's real tough.
We've been wanting to bang on doors for the past couple of seasons, but I feel like it's just a waste of time. You might find one person, but
One's all it takes.
yeah, that's true.
I know I didn't draw a Delaware public turkey permit one year, and I set out on a mission that I was going to find somebody to let me get or run around and chase turkeys on their property, and I knocked on a lot of doors in Delaware. Nothing.
Jeez.
Good luck. I'm a Delaware resident,
Nothing.
and I can't get permission on private. So
It's like I just got to find that one person that doesn't care. Couldn't find it.
It
But-
blows my mind. Like, why? What do people care so much? You know?
Yeah.
Like, why not? Let me go shoot a bird in your backyard.
Well, we got deer hunters. They pay a lot of money for exclusive lease rights. They probably won't even be there to turkey hunt.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or goose hunters, or
Yeah.
it's a mess.
Yeah, that's the thing, especially down like lower Delaware and the lower eastern shore of Maryland. Is hunting is it's a way of life around here that it's if you find a property that nobody's hunting, it's a diamond in the rough. I mean, it's pretty rare.
Yep.
So it's a struggle. Up here, it's a little easier. I feel like there's some spots that aren't hunted, but then you're talking to those people and they're just assholes. So it can be few and far between.
Yeah, and that's the other thing you run into is you get, the uber liberal folks that, they don't want you anywhere near. That like the guy that chased you off his driveway with the walker.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then the other ones. There was a lot. There was
Yeah.
a bad string there.
You should have ripped his walker away from him and left with it. Get fucked.
He's running out there with his Joe Biden flag. Guns are evil.
I don't think he had a problem with that. I just don't think he wanted somebody on his property. But I had to shout. He was really old and deaf, and I had to shout what I wanted at him. And so, like, the first 3 times, he still didn't hear me and understand. And then the 4th time, I guess he, like, understood what I was saying. And then he got pissed off about it.
Jesus.
But, like, I could tell that they, that family hunted. Like, there was just some other thing. I forget what it was. But there was other things in the yard that told me that they were probably, like, hunters and stuff. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe, it's late season. They've probably already killed their birds, and I might have a shot. And I feel like if I had talked to anybody else that was in that family, because it was, and I could tell that it was a big property that had a bunch of the last names and it was all connected together. And I'm like, this is going to be perfect. I already found birds on it. There was birds right behind the guy's house. Like, this is going to be perfect. I just got to knock. And I feel like if I had asked anybody else, they probably would have said it right. But I asked the old guy, and the old guy did not like that.
Yeah.
So, but I was done with that state.
Yeah, what state was that?
Connecticut.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that makes a lot of sense. You did get one in Connecticut?
Not yet.
No. Okay.
No, Connecticut is one of the 8 remaining.
Damn.
What 8 are they?
Nevada, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Indiana, Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Connecticut.
PA.
Pennsylvania, as close as he is to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's surprising. You just don't like Pennsylvania? Is it the
No,
Amish?
no,
I get
And
it.
he doesn't.
I don't like the Amish.
Who likes Pennsylvania?
Not me.
I say Pennsylvania just because it is close. Pennsylvania, West Virginia, it's close. I can hit them. I can get out of work and drive overnight and then get there in the morning and hunt. So I kind of just save those for that. Okay, I don't have anything else to do. Maybe I can just run up there for a day or two.
That
And then
makes sense.
now I'm at the end of the string and I still haven't killed a bird in there. So
Have you guys got like a belt or anything for whoever wins first? Or
Nah,
No,
it's not even a
it's not.
contest anymore. He's
Yeah.
got it.
maybe not. I could have a bad year.
he could be stuck on one property for 10 years. I mean, you never know. It's possible.
Could
Turkey
happen.
season could be like my deer season, and then
Oh,
it
shit.
would be easy for you.
Yeah.
Catch up real quick.
So you've been hunting whitetail around here,
Yeah, on the lower shore, then in Virginia a little bit.
private or public?
In Virginia, it was private, and then up here it's all public.
Oh, okay. Do they allow you to bait in Virginia?
No.
No. Okay.
And it really wasn't that much. Like, I just went out when I was, 7 years old. My dad took me out a few times. We had
Oh, okay.
we had a farm down there that we hunted on. And then I went back occasionally, throughout the years, shot my first deer down there, and that's been it.
Yeah. Public's pretty hard. I wouldn't know down by where you're at, but Cecil County Public's tough because we get hit from a lot of people from Delaware and PA
Mm-hmm.
because their bag limits are so low and ours are so liberal. Like you can come down here and shoot 40 deer. So
You can in Delaware, too, if
Yeah.
you want to pay for it, but you can.
You keep buying tags, right?
Yeah.
In Delaware?
You get 4 doe tags, and then if you buy the quality buck tag, you get 2 buck tags. But then you can buy, I think, I could be wrong on this because I've never killed one in Delaware. I've never had this happen, this
Right.
happen. But I think you can buy as many doe tags as you want.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I thought
They're 20-some
Delaware
bucks
was
or
like
something.
4 deer total.
No, it's just I don't think many people decide to buy more tags. But
Okay.
you can buy more tags if you had deep
Mhm.
enough pockets and wanted to, and
Gotcha.
didn't have crop damage permits. So
I think the average hunter in Maryland kills like 2 deer.
Really?
Yep. Average hunter
Yes!
in Maryland.
Above average.
Man, you are well above average. Jesus.
The average hunter in Maryland kills 2 deer, but our bag limits in Maryland, I believe, are 40 or 45.
36.
Is it that low?
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. Well,
Is it that low?
Well,
What do I know?
that's region B.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then region A,
is
you
way
can have
less.
another 9 or something.
Yes.
Yeah, out in Garrett County.
Yeah.
And all, yeah.
Yeah. They
And
can.
then add Cigadeer into it. And up until
Yeah.
this year, Cigadeer were separate in Blackwater and
Yep.
it was
state land.
116. I counted it one day when I was bored at work on the eastern
Plus
shore.
acetate.
Yeah, on the eastern shore, you could kill 116 deer legally in the season.
If you do acetate, Blackwater.
That was previous. This year, Blackwater changed the
is-
regulations, so you
Blackwater's
can't
the
do
same now.
it. But when it was separate, yeah, you could.
I don't know anybody. We got a good buddy. He's killed 24 this year.
Oh, shit.
But
A deer.
It's a shame of a deer.
yeah, he's an animal. But
I'd like to see some of ITP's numbers. They lay them down.
They do too.
yeah.
You seen those guys
Who is it?
in the presence?
Oh, I've watched some of their Cigadeer videos.
No, wait, I gotta tip the hat to those guys right here. We're pretty notorious for being first. Like we get up stupid early.
Uh-huh.
We're there. We're not gonna get beat. These guys beat us.
No shit.
Beat me one day at the same boat ramp, and wasn't long after. I think the next week or so they beat you, and it wasn't by much, but it's like you guys are doing something.
They ain't messing around.
Yeah.
So now you guys you like to get in early. Is that just because circumstantially, like you just
Just to get a
the
spot.
drive, or you're doing it intentionally to get a spot?
Well, it's the drive, live up here. It's a long ways from Sikaville.
Yeah.
That you gotta make sure that you're first. So I don't want to drive down there and get beat. So
Makes sense.
I'll make sure that I'm there.
Line them up, sister.
You're in the hot seat there.
It's a fresh keg, so it won't run out.
Yeah, we've tapped this thing quite a few times. Yeah. So when I'm going down, and most of the time I'll go down and I'll cuddle up next to Ryan in his bed, and
You switch up big spoon, little spoon.
yeah, I'm usually
It's courtesy.
I'm usually the big spoon, but I've gone down, and I think I left here at, I can't remember what it was. I think it was 2:30 in the morning. I left here, and I got down there, and I guess it was about 4:30. Does that sound right? Yeah, it's about 2 hours from here, and we got out in the woods. So but I feel like you guys get in there earlier than that even.
Maybe
Sleep there.
I may have slept better in a tree than I did in my bed.
Definitely
lot.
more hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and him, when we went to Blackwater, I was taking naps. We would go hunt, because during early season in October, we were getting out there. We were waking up because he lives about 40 minutes from Blackwater. So we would wake up and at like 3 or 3:30, because we got a 40-minute drive to get there, hunt, go take a nap in my truck or his car, and then afterwards we'd go back out and hunt, and then we wouldn't get back to his house after dinner. It'd be like 9 o'clock. It's time to like have a beer and go to bed. That's all you can do there. I mean, is hunt and sleep and
Yeah.
Yep.
It was rough. I wasn't a fan, especially hunting where the hell me and Runsky hunted. That was terrible.
At least Blackwater forces you have a hard entry time.
Yeah.
So you
What do you
can't.
mean?
What is it? 2. Forget what they changed it to this year.
3 hours.
2.5 hours, I thought, before legal.
Is the earliest you can get
Yeah, I
in.
think it was 3 hours before sunrise, so 2.5 hours before legal. I think
Okay. I thought it was 2.5 hours before legal.
that would be the same.
Yeah.
Have
But yeah, so
guys-
you have a hard stop or a hard start on that. So,
kind of
yeah.
restriction on how
you,
early
you can't
go.
do too stupid like
Right.
we would probably do.
Just sleep out there all night long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd
that's how
love to.
Rogues Harbor is. You can't go in there, or you can't sign in.
You got 2 hours before first light.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got a public land spot that we hit, and if you want to kill a whitetail, it's a great spot. Go to Rogues Harbor. It opens in November 6th or 7th, and dude, just go in there and hang it. Put your climber up, and you'll kill a whitetail.
Any tree. It's a petting zoo.
Yeah, it's virtually untouched until each year until like really good time. Like if it's not full blown rut, it's like pre-rut, and we've had a lot of success there. But that's one of them spots you have to get there way early because they only let 12 people in there a day, and if you're not one of the first people to get there, you don't get in. But that's how I got a nice buck there, November 6th this year. He shot something there. I shot something there last year, so it's a great spot if you wanna kill a whitetail. It's a good spot to start. But so with Cigadeer, you guys mostly hunt in Blackwater, or do you guys go to the fuck is that called? Ellis Bay. Fishing Bay. You don't have to.
Everywhere.
You don't have to.
You know, somewhere down there.
Around in that area.
Ballpark.
Gotcha.
I think we've been to everywhere that has Sika.
Gotcha.
'Cause, like I've even,
Have you guys hunted them in Delaware?
I have.
Yeah.
I have a video.
Yeah, I've thought about trying over there, but I haven't really messed with it.
It don't. And I'm not saying this to try to protect a spot.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm really not. It is hell.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100% hell. I
Just
mean,
the
it's
frag.
no, it's the mud. The mud is unlike anything that I have ever experienced, and I've been in some of the worst places. That hunting camp I was telling you about in Virginia,
Yeah.
one of the swamps down there was called Lower Hell,
Mhm.
and that is a cakewalk to where the deer are. Most of the deer are in Delaware. It's absolute freaking brutal. You will go
Would that be
waist deep.
upper hell?
Yeah, it would be upper hell. I mean, it's you saw it. You didn't believe me, and then you went there. You hunted there a little
It's
bit this
legit.
year, and I was like, okay, I believe you. It sucks. I mean, it's you are literally waist to chest deep in mud, and you just have to grab onto briars and try to pull yourself through the mud.
No
I'm
thanks.
telling you, it's nasty. It's,
Dangerous. That sounds like you fucking die.
The problem is, like,
Yeah.
you've seen tidal mud
Mm-hmm.
hunting in Dorchester County.
Mm-hmm.
It has a bottom, and generally you're around that marsh foundation. So the marsh is solid, and the marsh kind of keeps you up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you hit a tack stitch, it sucks.
Yeah.
But this is flooded up into woods, so it doesn't have that anything kind of holding it up. So if you're not on a root, like a tree root, you're down. I had a brand new pair of waders that were confirmed from body booting on the flats that they did not leak. Hunted one day in Delaware. The next day I went out on the flats. They leaked like a sieve.
No shit.
It beat the shit out of those waders.
Wow. Well, what kind of waders do you guys like to use?
I'm on the fence still. We
They're
were
gonna
swearing by
leak.
Rogers 3-in-1s there for a while. I think we put a video out where we gave them our seal of approval, but I think I've gone through a couple pairs of them since then. And it's just hard. That environment, it's hell on them. But
I got a buddy who's a big duck hunter from down south, and he was like, shout out Chris Armstrong down in South Carolina, and he was like, dude, from the environment that you guys are hunting in there, he's like, honestly, you're probably better off just buying the cheapest thing you can get because you're going to poke holes in whatever you
Yeah.
buy.
Yeah,
not a bad.
yeah. Pretty
Makes
much.
sense.
Yeah. So that's kind of been my approach from here on out for Sikaville. Is just I'm just gonna buy cheap fucking waders because you're gonna poke holes in them.
Yeah. My latest pair is Gator waders, the Shield waders. Trying them out. So far, I've really liked them, but I'm not going to take them out in Sikaville just because I know I'll destroy them.
Yeah. Yeah. Save some cheap ones for there,
Yeah.
and even if you get like a season out of them, but you could pay $60 for them or $70 for them on Amazon. So that's kind of the road I'm taking.
Early season, I have a pair of frog togs that are the non-insulated, just the really basic ones with no insulation in the foot. They leak, but I wear them early season up until probably the end of October, just because I know I'm going to get wet regardless. I'm either going to get wet because you're walking through it and you're going to sweat. So
Yeah.
I'm still going to get a little bit wet with these waders on, but it's not as bad, and it keeps the mud off of you, and they work and they're cheap and they already have holes in them. So
Yeah.
Something I started doing down there is we take a sled out a lot of times, like straight to the tree. A lot of times I'll throw a pair of knee boots in the sled. That way when I get to the base of the tree, I can drop out of my waders, put knee boots on. It's a hell of a lot more comfortable sitting in that stand doing that.
and
Yeah.
quieter,
And quieter, yeah.
Yep.
especially with a bow.
Yeah. That's something we started doing as well, and
Or September, a pair of Crocs.
yeah. Yeah.
My boy over there loves the Crocs.
I hunted Blackwater in Crocs.
You ain't crocking. You ain't rocking.
Dude, Crocs are great, and you can walk super quiet with them too. I thought about bringing them tonight because where we went hunting, we were going to do some spotting stalking, and didn't pan out. But I thought about bringing the Crocs, but I didn't bring them.
That would have been a bad idea.
Yeah. Well, no, I wasn't going to wear them. I was just going to bring them, and then like once I seen a deer, take them off, put the Crocs on. Yeah.
So have you successfully killed a deer in Crocs?
Oh boy, it would definitely early season, but it would be from a tree stand in Crocs. Yeah. But on the ground, no. On the
We're
ground,
on the ground or on a deck.
I was not on a deck.
In Crocs?
I'd walked out on the top of the hill. I like to check off all the species that I've killed
In
while
Crocs?
wearing Crocs, and I got doves, geese, deer. I don't think I have a Cigadeer.
not in
I
Crocs.
don't
I don't
think
think
so.
you've tried turkeys a couple times.
I've tried turkeys a couple times. I haven't pulled off a turkey yet.
Okay.
It will happen. It's my destiny.
I feel like turkeys, you could do it. With turkey, are you guys using blinds or are you just sitting on the ground?
No.
on
no
the ground,
blinds.
up against a tree.
Yeah.
Just up against a tree.
Yep.
Yeah. And they have killer eyesight, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, how come no blinds? You just
don't
like
need
being
one.
mobile?
If you sit, the best place to hide is in plain sight for a turkey, and just make sure that you're camouflaged.
That makes sense if you don't think about it.
Yeah.
Well, Actually, I stole
If your
that
eyes-
from a book, and I think it was the 10th Legion. I could be wrong on which book I stole it from, but somebody definitely said that before me that's way smarter than I am, and I swear I stole it from. Or, you know what, it might have been Old Pro.
Either way, they were turkey hunter, which means their sanity was probably questionable.
Probably. But if you don't move, they're probably not, and you have good camouflage, and your hands are covered, your face
Yeah.
is covered, they're probably not going to see you.
And it makes sense to me because I think about it, and if you have really good eyesight, like say humans, theirs is probably better. If I'm in the woods, I'm going to spot a blind before I spot a guy fully camoed out hiding behind a tree. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to avoid that blind a lot easier.
So
Wonder-
a blind, turkeys are impeccable about staying alive. Like that's their key instinct and their eyesight, their hearing is way better than a whitetail would be. Obviously, they can't smell, so they lose points on that. But everything else checks out. When it comes to a blind, you could put a blind up that hadn't been there for a week. They have no idea it's there.
Yeah.
They turn stupid.
That's what I heard.
And-
my old boss told me the same thing.
And decoys will make them do just stupid, uncharacteristic things. Make them come running in to beat up a decoy. And I think for a lot of those, and I don't think I've ever killed a turkey in a blind, but you have.
Once. And it was weird. And I don't want to necessarily do it again.
But I have shot turkeys over decoys, and we kind of learned, like, that's not really how we like to do things. And it's a little more mano a mano, and I don't know, you got to get down on their level.
So you don't use decoys?
No, not much.
No.
I'm not saying I won't. I might
Right.
see the need for it and I might do it, but generally do not.
So you generally just call to them.
Yep.
Yep.
Now, once you hear them, like say in the spring, how are you calling to them?
There's a ton of variables, and I don't want to just kind of say that, but there's a ton of variables. You got to read the bird, and they're going to tell you what it is that they're doing, or whether there's multiple birds or one bird, or whether there's hens with them or not hens with them, or whether the hens are rowdy or not rowdy. My favorite turkey hunt is when the hens are rowdy, because then they get crazy. Because if you can fire up that boss hen and she wants to come beat you up, that gobbler is going to follow, and he's not paying any attention to anything else other than her, and she's just looking for another hen. So if she doesn't see another hen, she's just going to march right past you. And it worked beautifully, and I love it. And if I could find that every day, I would, because I mean, it's my favorite way to do it, is to have a henned up turkey that has a boss hen with him and get her fighting mad to where she wants to come in and kick your ass. And then the gobbler's going to come in, and it's a nice, easy layup.
Damn. So a turkey, it just seems like this endeavor that is just so alien to me.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't know the first thing on how to set up something like that, like calls that way. How did you guys learn to call to them the way that you've called to them? I mean, it seems like almost speaking another language.
Screwing up.
Yeah. Learn
Screwing
from the
up a
bird.
lot.
Yeah. You spent a lot of time just out there fucking with your thumb up your ass, I guess.
I mean, we both had fathers that got us into it. And my father is a very, very good turkey hunter. He's been turkey hunting for a long, long, long time. And so he taught me some of it, but I was young and didn't pay attention and was hard-headed. And so when I turned 16 and could hunt by myself, I went out on my own and was like, oh, shoot, I didn't pay nearly enough attention like I should have. But I was a young kid and thought that, I can do this better than my dad can. And then I went out and like, dang it, I really should have paid better attention. And then so I kind of had to take what I had sort of learned and then try to, figure it out again. So it made it a little bit easier for me. But you had almost no real training in that.
No, I mean, my dad and I he killed a bird probably the year I was born, I think. It was a jake on a public area that we frequent. But we didn't I think he killed that one bird, and then I was probably 12 years old when we started hunting. He works on the proving ground, so their turkey population didn't get to the point where they would open up a season for a while. And then when they first started, it was like it would open up for like, all right, we have a 10 bird quota. As soon as we hit these 10 birds, we're done. Season's over. So the first few years, I was only getting a couple days to even dabble into it, and we were kind of learning as we went there. And honestly, I think, like, looking back at those years of screwed up situations, it's like we had so many times where we had birds in range and just failed to pull the freaking trigger. It's like it took me so long to figure out. It's like you can move on them more than you think you can, and pull the trigger when you need to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
That was like the biggest hurdle that I think
Yeah,
held me up for a long time.
agreed.
I didn't kill my first turkey until I was 19.
Yeah. So by moving on them, you mean like say you hear one that's relatively close, you'll move to them?
Or see them.
Say the situation, like you got your gun pointing this way. Bird pops up this way. His head pops up. You're like, shit. I would freeze.
Yeah.
Now I've learned, wait for him to take a step, move with his step, and he's just going to stand up straighter. What was that?
Boom.
At that point, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Right.
In theory, yeah.
Sometimes.
Have you ever taken one with an archery equipment?
I have not. I have attempted slightly, weekly. Didn't I just talk about this?
You did.
We did a live show just 2 days ago or something.
Oh, okay.
And this came up. We talking about archery equipment. We had, my dad lives in Conowingo. He's got like 4.5 acres right behind his house. We had a group of jakes that would get fired up back there periodically. We're like, all right, if we're going to kill one, it's got to be with the bow. Like, that's the rule.
Mm-hmm.
So, ran out there. Bow, I'll set aside my reservations with the blind and say it's okay just because
Yeah.
of the drawing aspect. So I ran out there. These things were fired up, threw the blind up, got in the blind, called them in, 25-yard shot, thwack, arrow hits the ground.
Ugh.
I'm like, what the hell? They go away. Get them cranked up again. Here they come right back. Draw back. Thwack! Arrow hits the ground right at their feet. They're gone. Like, what the hell? Get back up in the yard. Shot my bow. Hit dead nuts. It's like, what did I do?
Shooting the blind.
Got in the blind. Shot again. Arrow hits the ground right before the target. Then I look. There's 3 holes in the blind. I cleared the window.
Yeah. I was getting ready to ask what he was shooting, but I knew you were shooting the blind.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'll do it. So so bow
Done that
hunting-
one before?
No, I haven't, but I just we had what we were doing tonight. We kind of had a sort of that kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to pay. Sometimes you got to be cognizant of where your sight is and where your arrow's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
are two very different things.
I get it.
Especially in a blind.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, I've been in a tree stand that I built before, and I had deer right in front of me, and I drew back, and I had like a little railing, and I fucking shot the railing right in front of me. My arrow barely fucking cleared the string.
Oh, my.
It happens. I mean,
I bet that's a little nerve-wracking too, because I'm
Yeah.
sure
I'd
it
be
made a
worried
loud
about, like,
whack.
dying.
loud as fuck. Yeah, because I'm at full draw, and the arrow
You're not
comes out,
expecting it.
and like my string was like that far from the knock,
Oh my god!
so like the arrow barely even went anywhere.
Holy crap.
It like left the bow and went into the rail.
400 feet per second, right into wood.
Yeah, so it was. Needless to say, it was really loud, and all the deer took off, but. It was a learning experience, you know what I mean? That's how we get better at this stuff. Fucking trial and error. I got a bunch of questions for you guys, and you guys aren't big, and I probably hit a lot of these, but I'm gonna try and read a couple of them off to you. I know you guys aren't the biggest of whitetail hunters, but a lot of them are a little bit related to it, and some of them you can do just not even related to whitetail. You can answer them for turkey. So for hunting turkey, mornings or evenings?
Mornings, for sure. Most states don't allow you to hunt evenings.
Well, local. The rest of the world does.
True. You're right. Most other states outside of the Northeast do allow you to hunt all day. Most of the northeastern states do not.
But you'd still prefer mornings?
Still prefer mornings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever hunt evenings?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
More
if you're on a
especially-
trip every hour of the day,
That you're
there.
allowed. Right.
Yeah.
Hunt. Gotcha. What's your favorite shotgun to use for turkey?
That's an interesting question, just because
We're
both,
in limbo.
we both have 2 shotguns that are at 2 different dipping places now to get dipped. So we're going to both be using new shotguns come this spring, hopefully. They're
Yeah.
both Rite Masai Mara 3.5-inch shotguns.
Sounds like a samurai sword.
They're new. They're like a Benelli. Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the nice thing about them is that they will always roll over. As a Super Black Eagle 2 or an M1 or M2 will not roll over all the time. You can, where it won't chamber all the way. And so you'll get that Benelli click. The Rites don't do that. So, and they're cheaper than a Benelli. So that's one of the reasons why we want them. And they have really good reviews. Everybody I've talked to says they shoot great. So we went with those this year. Before this year, I shot a TriStar Raptor Attack. And I have mixed reviews about it. It was a home defense gun, which I did love the fact that it was super short shot stock, 18.5-inch barrel with a pistol grip, really short light gun. But it had some quality issues where it wouldn't cycle all the time.
Oh, really?
So like pretty much all last year I was shooting a single shot with 3 shells in the gun. But I was shooting a single shot for all intents and purposes. And I mean, it was a very deadly.
You'd have to like manually chamber rounds?
Yeah, if you watch any of my turkey hunting videos, you'll watch me. I'll shoot and then I rack it. Like as soon as I pull the trigger, I'm reaching for that handle because I know it's either not going to eject the shell or the next shell's not going to load all the way. And so I'm in the process of trying to get another shell in that gun.
Wow.
As
Oh,
fast
shit.
as possible because I have 3 shells and things happen and turkeys that look dead sometimes aren't dead. So
Yeah, so I've been shooting a Mossberg 835 for quite a while. I think I bought that gun in 2009. So I like that gun. It's been great to me. I cannot complain. It's killed a lot of turkeys. But it's been notorious for the last few years on developing similar issue to the Benelli click, but I guess it's the Mossberg click in this instance. Take that Mississippi 18 days to finally get a bird in range. The first thing that happened when I finally had 2 longbirds standing in front of me at 25 yards was click.
Ugh. Fuck. That's sickening.
So that was the moment that I said, I'm buying a new gun.
Yeah.
I recovered. I got the turkey, but
Derek has become very, very
I'm
good
good.
at recovering. I mean, extremely good. We both actually have become very good at recovering from gun malfunctions.
yeah, it's like second nature. Click, chick, boom.
Yeah, it's almost like you hear that sound, and you already know what to do. That's
You had an AR click this year with your
I
son.
had quite a few clicks.
Yeah. Clicked like 6 times.
Yeah, I built an AR, and I've never had any issues with it up until I got a deer in front of my son, and it's his first deer. He's 8 years old, and he goes to pull the trigger, and I'm behind him. And I'm like this proud dad moment, and I'm like, all right, son, you got it, boy. And he's like, click, and I'm like, the fuck? I pulled apart, and I must have did it like 4 times, click, 4 times, click. And luckily, these were 2 little button bucks, so they were just oblivious to what was going on.
Right.
They just looked back, and they're like, huh, that's a weird noise.
Got a little button buck.
Finally, that thing went off, and then I didn't have any issues.
I like it there.
It, yeah, I'm not unfamiliar with the click thing. That sucks. And Cigadeer this year, I went hunting with a muzzleloader. I didn't get any click or anything, but it was kind of similar. I got all the way out into the marsh. Not only did I get into the marsh, I climbed my fucking tree. And I got into my tree when I realized I didn't have a primer. That sucked.
Derek can wrap up. How long do you guys want to talk about muzzleloader misfires? Because Derek can sit here for that length of time and tell you about Cigadeer and muzzleloader issues.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
So this year, I had the perfect trifecta, right? I could have had the bow kill, the muzzleloader kill, the firearm kill. But my muzzleloader kill has a little sob story to it, because apparently the night before, probably got my gun case a little soggy, and here I got this pretty decent 6-point, 25 yards away from me. Pop!
Damn it, boy.
Where's the bang? Where's the bang?
I would have jumped. I would have swan dived out of that fucking tree stand. I'd have unhooked my fucking harness and just ended it right there.
He didn't care. He's like, the fuck was that?
No shit.
Yeah.
And then, still probably one of the bigger stags you've ever seen. He was in my spot, and I let him go there.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
That was a while ago. One of the biggest stags you've ever seen comes up.
I missed a really big 6-point at 25 yards.
That fucking sucks, man.
And I'm gonna go with there was a little delay between the pop and the bang.
Okay.
But I'm just making it up.
I was getting ready to go with you, but
It happens.
I mean that was the excuse, but
Yeah.
I freaking whiffed.
Dude, it happens though. You know, anybody who's put in enough time in the woods, you're fucking whiffing shots. I don't care how good you are. I fucking Levi Morgan will tell you, he's fucking done it with a bow. I mean, that's the baddest man who's ever fucking pulled a string back. I mean, everybody misses. Everybody fucks up.
He does it less than I do.
Yeah, he does it less than all of us do, for sure. But that's bow hunting and in particular, but hunting even, just hunting in general, is one of those things that you never really master. Like, you can be really fucking good at it, but you're never a master of this. I mean, this is a lifetime pursuit of always trying to be better than you were before. So it's
And if your heart's not thumping, then it's not worth
Yeah,
doing.
don't
And
even sell your
when
shit.
your heart starts thumping, all kinds of different things can happen.
Yes.
And that's why we do it. I mean, one of the many reasons why, but that's why you do it. And everybody, we all fuck up. So can't beat ourselves up too bad about it. As much as we do, we're still going to kill ourselves and kick myself in the ass all the time. I mean, I shot a buck and I never found him this year. I mean, a nice buck.
You've done that a lot.
I've done it a lot. It's
Nice support group you have here.
I've shot three Pope and Young or bigger, one Boone and Crockett.
One was definitely a booner.
With my bow in the past 3-4 years, and not found them. So it's 3 of them in the past 3 or 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about just giving him the gun to just kill himself. He's stronger than that.
Thought a lot about it. Now, you guys, we already touched this on fixed and mechanical. You guys are a little. You guys both shoot mechanical?
No, he's
I shoot
fixed.
fixed.
You shoot fixed. What do you use?
Last year I shot Exodus.
How do you like them? That's what I got right now.
I liked them. I mean, I blew up this shoulder of a Sika. I
Yeah.
mean, and probably would have anchored it pretty quickly, but it was getting really dark really fast, and I had more arrows in the quiver, and I'm one of those, again, like I said, I don't like to track them, so if I have more arrows and I can still shoot, I'm going to shoot whatever it might be.
So double tap.
Yeah. But this year I switched to a single bevel, and I haven't killed a deer, so I have no idea. I have no opinions.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
See, we're different. I enjoy the track. I don't know why.
Have you tracked one through water?
No, I have not. Well,
That's-
I did actually in Millington because it used to be flooded timber in that public land, but not since.
The Sika deer live in water, and I don't want to have to. I mean, like the deer I've shot, I saw where I shot them, and generally I saw where they fell, and so I went to where they, where I shot them, and then did actually try to track to get experience. And I realized how hard it is, and I'm like, I would much rather know it's right there, and I don't want to go. I can go right there.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a whole different ball game in the completely flooded timber.
Yeah.
The one nice thing about the marsh, though, is the frag, and you got a deer that bleeds. Now, a Cigadeer's hide is a lot more absorbent than a whitetail's hide. Whitetail has that hollow fur where it just kind of sheds off it, but a Cigadeer acts more like a sponge, and it kind of absorbs it. So it's got to be bleeding pretty good to get a good trail on it. But the nice thing about it is they'll run through the frag, and then they touch off on the frag, and it kind of paints as it goes. In a situation like you're talking about Millington, because I did that on the very first Sika I shot, the woods were flooded to the point I wasn't in frag, to where all I had to track in was water. And that was, luckily, I had a pretty good idea where that deer went, but that could have been hell had I not had an idea where that thing fell.
So I've heard of guys saying, like, try to follow bubbles.
Yeah.
Like where they've stepped. And that the one that Ryan and I tracked, that's kind of what I did. And I successfully tracked it through, what do you think it was, Ryan? Maybe 100 yards of water before we got to like a bedding area, which we found a little bit of blood, but that's where I lost him. Believe it or not, I didn't lose him in water. I lost him in a fucking dry patch of land.
Yeah.
Well, Derek shot one last year with a shotgun. What, you had 2 bullet holes in that thing, right?
I had 2 good shots on it.
2 good shots on this deer. We found.
No, we did not wait at all because it was right at the end of shooting time when I shot.
Yeah.
And we got right on it, but its head was up when we got to it.
Not only was its head up, but when it did get up and it moved once, I went to where it was bedded down, and I found a spot of blood less than a dime, and that was with 2 20-gauge slug holes. Well, 4, because it was 2 pass-throughs, so 4 holes in this deer, and it had
4 holes through cavity.
Through cavity, and it had a spot smaller than a dime where it was sitting, embedded.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell I did there.
Yeah.
I ended up killing it with a knife. That was a very interesting event.
Yeah, it happened to me me last year. Yeah, when you found it was still alive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a full on tackle and
took a while, huh?
Yeah. Ruined a pair of waders right then and there. Its hoof got up, and because it ended up being like a murder scene, and its hoof like just dug right into my waders and ripped them wide open.
No shit.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
Don't do that.
I had a doe that I walked up on. It was the first doe of the season. What was that, last year? It was last year. And man, it was brutal. It's not an easy thing. I mean, they're strong animals. I don't know about Sika. I mean, they're a little smaller, but I can't imagine they're easy to fucking hold down either. Yeah, it's no fun. So Cigadeer, you say like, and it makes sense when you're saying like their hide will absorb the blood a little better. As to like a whitetail, it wicks blood, so the blood like literally just pours off of them. So that really makes a lot of sense why they're so hard to track.
And maybe why you didn't find yours.
That could be. And I mean, it was late as hell, and I looked all over for that thing, but if once you have no trail, I mean, what do? You know, you're in fucking Blackwater. It's 8:00 at night.
You talk about mornings and evenings. I am very reluctant to hunt evenings, even though I know that they're very effective because of tracking deer at night in the marsh.
For Sika.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very reluctant about it. And he's had phenomenal success in evenings. Like, you've had way better success in the evenings.
I prefer the mornings, though, but like it seems all of my bigger stags have been in the evening.
Really?
Yeah. And I still don't like it.
Why? Just
because of tracking.
Purely from tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if you get them right, you get down, you walk right to them, it's still such an event. You're talking hours
especially
to get out
if
of
you're
a marsh.
Blackwater, and where you have a timeline where you have to be out of you have to be off the property by a certain time period. Last year, the big 4-point that I shot him right at last light. He fell, I don't know, 10 yards from where I shot him. I mean, it was perfect how he came down. Went right to him. I mean, as soon as I could get the camera equipment, all that stuff down, I went right to him, found him. He was dead. And I didn't have any way of really getting him out of there at the time, so I ran back to the truck, grabbed my sled, dumped my backpack, went hauling butt back in there, gutted him, came back out, and was still, like cutting it super close to the time period when you're supposed to be out.
Yeah,
I mean, I was like dying, like literally running through the marsh with my backpack on, trying to get back to the truck in time, and then trying to get back to the deer, and just it wasn't a whole lot of fun afterwards.
I feel like that's such a dumb fucking rule that they have a limit on when you can get out of there. Like, but I wonder though, if you get out of Blackwater and it's 30 minutes after you're supposed to be out of there.
If it's because you're
really
pulling the deer out,
time?
I can't see that happening.
I can't see that.
You can't call.
I can't either, but I don't want to ever meet one of those guys that's got a problem with me because of the channel or who knows what. I don't want to be
that's
that
legit.
guy.
Yeah,
that's legit.
So
yeah, that makes sense, and I totally get that. I don't know. You'd like to think DNR would be understanding, but I've heard nightmares about or I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. I've heard bad stories about the fucking guys, the DNR guys down in Blackwater that they will fry your ass.
I feel like you should be able to call a number and be like, "Hey, I'm still in here.
I'm
Please
saying.
leave me alone." You can. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, what are they gonna? What am I supposed to? You want me to leave the fucking deer? You know what I mean? So
Right. But do you have signal? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't have signal in there at all.
I did. Well, at least where I was.
I think I did.
Yeah.
You're Verizon too, right?
It depends on
where
who you
I'm
got.
at.
I have Sprint, and I have like almost no service in the marsh. Anywhere down there. I lost a phone down there. The marsh took one of my phones.
Probably not the first or last phone that it's seen.
Oh yeah, it is just such brutal terrain. Let me see if I got any more for you guys. Ryan, you got any question for him that I might have missed?
I'm just curious about how you play the wind with Cigadeer compared to Whitetail.
Yeah, so Ryan
We've
said,
heard
playing the
from
wind.
Somebody that you don't have to play the wind nearly as much, and that when they come, pretty much by the time they wind you, they'll be in shooting range with a bow.
So what Ryan's saying is we got told by some guys down there that the wind isn't as much of a factor for Sika, and that by the time they wind you, you've got a shot on them. And we were just wondering what your guys' experience is in that. Do you feel that they're less apprehensive about scent as opposed, like in comparison to a whitetail?
I would agree that they're not as scent concerned as whitetail. Yes,
Yeah.
I would agree to that. Would you?
Again, I
Limited
have very limited
whitetail.
experience in whitetail, but I would say yes. They do smell, though.
They do smell. They will wind you.
Mm-hmm.
I still take that into consideration.
That's how we've been playing it. Like,
I mean, you don't want to err in the wrong side there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, absolutely, definitely. I mean, it's always better to be safe. I think, and I'd say this with whitetail too, your best wind is when it's almost raw.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they work into the wind intentionally, and we've talked about this a lot, that they'll work into the wind because it's their form of protection.
Yeah.
Like, they know when they're, like, a particular spot I'm thinking of is bordering close to a private land feeder central place, but they're working off onto public, and they want to go out to the public, but I think it's almost in your favor when the wind is bad.
Yeah.
So
Because they're gonna play that wind, and if you can sit in a position that makes it possible for them to use the wind and you to still intercept them, that's money. And that's how I feel about whitetail. I mean, so that I will apply that to Sika as well. Just I'm gonna try it anyway. I'm learning from you guys, and if it's worked for y'all,
Don't
then
learn
hey,
from
maybe,
us.
Maybe it'll work for me.
dude, we're noobs.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I love hunting the Cigadeer. I mean, it's a whole new pursuit. I really do enjoy it.
It's like a mix of turkey hunting, waterfowl hunting, and whitetail hunting.
Yeah,
It really is.
that's what he kind of said the same thing. Like, it's like turkey, and he was saying hunting them outside of October is like hunting turkey outside the spring. Would you guys agree with that?
No.
No.
I just kind of threw that out there. I have
So
no idea what I'm talking
so
about.
October's the rut. Obviously, it's their peak calling period, but they bugle the entire time. We've turkey hunted in the spring in Dorchester County and heard Sika bugle. It's not like it's just limited to that period. They're still, yeah, you got left out.
I'm always the bar wench. You're like closest to it.
Well, what are you gonna do?
But they're still out there doing their thing. I would say the deer that I killed at mid rifle season, that's well outside of standard rut period, and it was very responsive to me challenging him in that area.
Did you growl at him?
I did.
Did you?
That turned him on, man. He lit it up. I had bugled. I had not heard a single bugle all morning. I was in an area I didn't know a whole lot about. I let one bugle out. About 10 minutes go by. He sounds off within 100 yards, which we'll relate it kind of like turkeys. You
got to get in their bubble.
You're in the bubble.
Yep.
And he lets me know that he's there.
What do you mean by bubble?
Bubble, that area around him that you're going to influence him.
Okay.
90% of the times you hear Cigadeer bugle off in the distance, they're just establishing I'm here. You could bugle at them.
You're not affected.
If they're far enough away, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They don't care. But it's when you're within his territory, when you're within his zone, if you're where he needs to be, where his home is, and there should not be another stag in that area, I think that's where calling is effective. We're big advocates for calling. We have a video out about calling, about different sounds. People overuse calling a lot.
Yeah. 100%.
There is a place to do it, and it's way overused, and you'll see a lot of people complain about it. And I think, like the video that we put out about calling, we made a lot of people not friends with us because all we did was encourage a bunch of people to go out there with their kazoos and sound off in the marsh.
Sure.
It's not effective.
It's him.
I mean, kazoos are cool, but it's knowing when to do it. And like in that situation, I did one blind bugle. Nothing else was going on. I made my presence known. He responded to it. He was there. He was close enough at the time that I did it that he had a good reaction to it. Once he bugled, I think I mewed 3 times, 2 times, and then I growled. So I let him know there's a hind here, and there's a stag tending him.
And this is out of October.
This is, it was
Mid-November?
almost December.
Mid-November.
Yeah.
I think it was November 30th.
Wow.
So then I growled. As soon as I growled, and I could not exactly pinpoint where he was, his thrashing through the frag let me know exactly where he was. And he came in on a freaking string after I growled at him.
No shit.
Is that the one you shot with a 30-30?
Yes. Yeah.
I've seen that video. I think I watched that video in preparation to go down there and watch and hunt the Sika.
I think I've seen that one too.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that one. That's fucking cool, man. I thought I was kind of thinking the same thing as far as like October, and I'm still apprehensive about calling. Like I really don't call to them just because I feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, and I feel like my calls. I'm not saying I haven't called, but I do it very sparingly because I don't. I mean, I feel like my bugles sound good, but I don't think they're loud enough.
Rip one off for us right now.
I don't have one with on my call with me, but I feel like I'm doing more harm than good.
What kind of call do you have?
I got a Sika reel.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll just basically bite down on it and just.
You're bugling on the reel?
Yeah.
I actually like the reel bugle. It's toned down a little bit. It's not
loud.
It's not as loud. It's like, and I don't mean to shame any call maker out there, but like the Seducers and the Nordics, they're so obnoxious, and so many people are using them. Like we sat at, it was at Blackwater one night, and we're just listening to everybody freaking call off, and it's like, oh, the Nordic, I give it a 3.
Yeah,
you know, we're texting each other back and forth, giving everybody their rating.
Yeah,
we were just within earshot of each other. When we would bugle, we could hear each other, and then there was a bunch of other people because it was October, so there was a bunch of other people around there. And we're like, yeah, that one's a 2, that one's a 3.
Muzzleloader season, I think. That was horrendous.
Yeah.
That was
like
like
Ryan and I would do. We'd look at each other and we'd just give thumbs down. Like, nope, that one a deer. That was
we're
a person.
cussing each other. It's like, why did we put that freaking calling video out?
Yeah.
Like, this is horrendous.
I'm probably doesn't help because you guys have a pretty big channel for like, as opposed to like Cigadeer. There's not anything out there. I mean, other than really you guys and In the Present. So you guys are like the only people who make YouTube videos about Sika. As far as I've seen, I don't know.
Regular content, there's a handful, like here and there videos, but yeah, as far as regular content actually chasing it,
Like
it's us and
Cigadeer.
ITP.
Yeah.
Obviously, Meat Eater had a big show on it. That got a lot of attention.
Yeah. Oh,
A lot more than we get.
People hate Steve Ranella for
Everybody
that.
down
Oh,
here.
yeah.
Everybody in Dorchester County hates Steven Ranella.
And
He better not go back down there. He's going to get his ass whipped.
Seek One was down there this year. And
Yeah. And they passed up a lot of deer that they shouldn't have.
Yeah.
they were hunting a really nice place.
Are you
Yeah,
shitting me?
yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
I'd love to hunt that place.
that's the place us mortals don't get to touch.
Yeah.
No, we'll never get
I say that with pure jealousy.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
I'm fucking jealous. Yeah, I'm envy. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that was.
That place was
I watched
bad,
that video
but-
and I was just pissed off.
Yeah, it just pissed me
Fuck you,
off.
dude.
It's just
Fuck
like,
you.
fuck, one day.
Shoot
One
a
day,
hind,
baby.
you douche.
Yeah, that'd be badass. But yeah, I enjoy the hell out of the public down there, and there's so much of it. So anybody's got a shot down there. At least that's how I feel. And I've had a lot of close calls. I've seen a lot of them. Shot one. I mean, it's totally doable on public down there. So.
Yeah. I would say, like, particularly Blackwater, I'd say that's where you want to be.
Yeah.
One of the guys that kind of mentored both Derek and I as far as Cigadeer goes, he told me this when we had first started and we were talking to him. He was like, hunt them like you would turkeys. And I'm like, what do you mean hunt them like you would turkeys?
We
Like,
don't really
that
have
took
the
a
balls
long
for
time
it.
for me to figure out. And what he meant was go to where they are.
Mm.
Which the difference between a turkey and a Cigadeer is if a turkey gobbles, I can walk.
Mm.
You know, it's woods. I can walk there, and it's easier. For a Cigadeer, if you hear him bugle when he goes to bed, well, that means you got to be there the next day.
Yeah.
You either have to be in there the next morning or the next night and hope he goes back to the same bed the next night. So it's a little bit different, but it's still kind of the same thing. So unless like I know that I'm close to where one's bedding, I may not bugle. It might more be of an observation sit and just sitting there and listening to see where they are, especially if I know I can be back in there the next day. And then I'm planning. You know, I might be sitting in the stand and not even thinking about shooting one, just planning on where I'm going to be the next day
To get in his bubble.
to get into his bubble.
I
That
like
makes-
I like the bubble.
That makes a lot of sense.
There-
Getting in the bubble.
There's a lot to that. And when they're bugling in the morning, where they are at night doesn't particularly matter. It's where they end up. So that last bugle at the end of the morning, it's like you might notice he bugles a couple times from the same
Before
spot.
bed.
That's where you want to be. be there the next
I
day.
can think of a particular spot
And
where I was at.
and he'll sound off when he wakes up in the afternoon.
Yeah. It sounds like that's what they do. Like when they wake up, they bugle, and when they go to bed, they bugle.
Yeah.
And
So
throughout the night.
so that's the difference between
And they
Cigadeer and Whitetail. Is Whitetail, you're just sitting there hoping.
Yeah. With the Sika, you know when they're there.
Sometimes, yeah.
If they bugle.
Right. If you're hunting in October, yeah.
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 Shit, even when we went down in December, I mean, we heard a lot of bugles. And we were in Wacomico, which is a motherfucker, by the way. I don't know if
There's
you
no
guys
deer in
hunt there.
Wacomico.
What's that?
There's no deer in Wacomico.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel.
You seen horses, right?
Oh, no, that was Aztec.
Oh,
Is that Wacomico?
Aztec is Worcester.
Worcester County, yeah.
Worcester.
You guys ever hunt there?
Worcester.
Aztec?
I have. I hunted there a few times last year trying to learn it.
You like it?
I do. It was cool. Totally different, and I
Yeah.
did not see deer.
Yeah.
So,
Me neither. Yeah, Wacomico, only deer I seen was, I locked eyes with a Sika for about 15 yards, me and him, eye to eye, and I fucking thought about shooting him. I ain't gonna lie to you. But he, it was dark, and I was like, fuck, well, and I looked at him, I was like, man, I would love to shoot you right now, and I just was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna walk towards you till you move, and I started walking towards him, and he took off. But it was a stag in the dark.
the only one I've seen was right there by the check station.
Yeah.
And apparently that's where he lives because I did some research on it, and you can find a ton of pictures on him.
Really?
And I should have smoked him one morning with my truck. I should have, because he stopped me. He came out and just stopped dead, and I'm like, I should hit you. I should hit you, but I'm not gonna. And so I stopped, and I stopped so close to him, I could just see the top inch of his antlers above my hood.
Wow.
And I'm like, you stupid.
Oh, that hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I had to hit the brakes hard. I was only doing 25 because that's what you can do on that road, and I had to lock the brakes up and came that close to him. I should have.
That was at Aztec.
Yeah, I should have just.
I
let
bet
it roll.
I know which stag it is.
Probably
I
because
bet I
everybody
do.
has seen it. You can find 100 pictures of him online. I mean, he's right there.
Well,
Safest deer in the world.
Yeah.
we hear a lot about how the Cigadeer tastes.
How are they?
Is it like?
Is it really that good?
Yes.
It's that good.
Is it?
Son of a bitch.
It is.
Why'd you tell me?
It is like heaven. I call it meat candy.
Wow.
It is pretty good.
I don't know if I'm that in love with it like Derek is, but it is really good.
Yeah.
Just plain is fine, like a plain steak.
I kill a lot of
No
shit,
seasoning.
and my wife will not eat much that I kill. She will devour Cigadeer.
Wow.
See, I'm a whitetail backstrap fanatic. What scale? Let's say a backstrap is an 8 out of 10. Off a whitetail, what's a Cigadeer compared to
12.
Yeah,
a 12? Oh, jeez.
it's good, man.
Have you had elk?
I've never had elk. No.
I haven't
I've
had elk either,
I've had it.
I have had elk.
but I've had Cigadeer.
I've had farm raised elk.
Yes, that's what I've had.
Yeah.
I've heard axis deer people say that axis deer is like the best thing you can freaking
Heard
eat.
that too.
I've heard that too.
But it's like, have they had a Sika?
Probably not.
I mean, how many people have
Yeah. So it's like, what percentage of people have had
actually
that's-
killed a Sika? I mean, they're pretty local. I mean, other than Texas, that's pretty much in Virginia.
I feel
So-
like Texas is like a different species, though.
So like
Yeah.
my go-to for the Sika deer, chops, steak, whatever, with the exception of roast. Put it in a pan, saute it up with a little bit of butter, a little bit of brown sugar. I'd use some Grill Mates brown sugar bourbon mix that kind of dry rub on it, and man, it freaking melts in your mouth. It's so phenomenal. Yeah, you won't want to eat a whitetail again.
See, that's why I don't want to do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
I don't want to fall out of love with my first love. Is my whole thing.
Yeah, I don't think. Oh yeah. Third love.
Whitetail, yeah. Whitetail's my first love, yeah.
I don't know. I still love whitetail just as much, and I haven't eaten a Sika though. But I don't think that's going to change anything. They could be fantastic. The fact of the matter is, it's just impractical to hunt them like we hunt whitetail.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I don't think it's going to take anything from it. I think it was more something else for us to be fanatical about.
Just wait.
Wait until you hear one
Just wait.
growl close to you, because that was what did it for me. I remember the exact moment I got
I
hooked.
thought I was hooked already, man.
Yeah.
I can't
No.
do it anymore.
When I got
I'm
hooked,
already
Dude, this
driving 2 hours in the middle of the fucking night to go hunt these goddamn things.
This
I
is
don't
like a
need to
wet
get
dream for us.
Yeah.
It's like
Fuck, man. God.
Mm.
All right. You guys, where can everybody find you guys at on social media and your channel?
the Bayside Legion, _Bayside_Legion on Instagram. YouTube is the Bayside Legion. Our website is thebaysidelegion.com.
Pretty
I
straightforward.
think that's it.
Great shit, by the way.
Hell yeah, awesome. One more time, can you do that growl for us?
and TikTok.
Oh, do you have a TikTok?
We're on the
I've been
Tik-
thinking about
Barely.
starting us a TikTok, but
That's
Don't
all
do
you,
it.
brother. I'm
Don't
not
do
doing
it.
We've paid no love to the TikTok.
yeah, I don't blame
We started to, and then it just didn't, like, you had one video that exploded
Yeah,
for
one
no
video
reason.
got like 400,000 freaking views on it,
Holy
and I have
fuck.
no idea why.
Yeah,
400,000?
that's what I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about.
Jesus
See?
Christ.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
have no
sign us
idea
up,
why.
Dude. Get
Yeah,
a TikTok.
But all the other ones, like the much better videos, got nothing. No love. But this
Yeah.
one was just you
It's
calling.
One of those
kind of a
fucking-
good video, but
I mean, if you watched it till the end, it was kind of funny. But up until then, it was just like, why is Derek walking around the woods calling?
so the story behind that TikTok, I was calling to a turkey in a pen
Oh, okay.
for like hours. It sucked.
That sucks. That really sucks.
And then it finally got close enough I could get the camera and zoom in on the pen and see the turkey.
Oh shit!
Okay, wow.
Oh, that just blew my own brains out. You know what? He thought like, oh yeah, this turkey's calling, but he will not
fired
come.
up.
He won't come to
He
me.
was.
So.
He would not budge. He was penned up. Penned up.
Literally penned
I
it.
think that's the name of your video.
That's what we'll call this podcast. All right, we're running on about almost an hour and a half, guys. Pounce, I gotta hear you do one more growl though.
Yeah,
one more.
growl,
Come on,
growl
let me
for
hear it.
That was awesome.
Fuck yeah.
I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Beers and Deers podcast. The Bayside Legion, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for coming
Thank you.
on.
Thanks for having us, fellas.